Welcome. Tonight's topic is pushing through. So this life is about pushing through, how we do and don't push through. Some of us want to push through more. Some of us need to pull back on pushing through. It's what we do when the discomfort hits. So some of us, like I said, push and pursue. Some of us avoid and withdraw when pushing through, when uncomfortable situations arise. So we're going to talk about both sides of that. Today. Are you in here? Oh no, she's not in here. Welcome in, welcome in. Mystical Beauty, welcome in. Tonight we're talking about pushing through. We'll get started in just a few. Thank you. We're going to talk about what happens when discomfort arises. Do you avoid? Do you take it head on? Do you push all the way through? I am doing good. How are you? Your bio still says that. That's hilarious. Thank you for the share. I remember when you made that. That was like a long time ago. That was like a year ago, wasn't it? Is it Helene? Welcome in. Yeah, maybe even longer than that. It's crazy. I think that's when I first met Hunter. Has it been that long already? That's crazy. I know, yeah. So what do you do? What do you push through? So some nervous systems are on they need to push through more, and some are we need to pull back because we push through everything. Where do you think you fall on that pendulum of pushing through? And I challenge everybody. It depends on what you're doing. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Carrie's in the house. Michelle, welcome in. While I'm at work, I push through. Thank you, sweetheart. How are you? At home, you feel it. Holly's in the house. Welcome in, Holly. right? So you push through at work and like crash at home. I'm good. I'm tired today. I don't feel super great, but not too shabby, not too shabby. It's just a lot going on. Johnny, welcome in. Tonight we are talking about pushing through. Pushing through. And what area might you be pushing through? But I always work through it. Sometimes I crash out. Yeah. Intuitive something. I saw you come in. Welcome in. Thank you guys for the likes and sharing out the live. I appreciate you. Thank you, Holly, for the hot me. And some ways that we push through that we might not even realize is, say like we're in a conversation and it's uncomfortable. Thank you for the heart me. You just became the 16 fan. Thank you, Mystic Beauty. I appreciate you. But sometimes, like if we're in a conversation, something uncomfortable happens, do we stop and like talk about it, or do we just push through the conversation and not say anything? So those are other ways that we push through that we don't even recognize. And when we're talking about pushing through, what I mean is the Atomic Youth in the house. Welcome back. Thanks for coming back. Tom, Steve the Cycler, welcome in. Aw, thank you, sweetheart. Oh, it's right here, but we're getting ready to move, so everything's in boxes. But it's over here. So we push through in a lot of different ways. Like Mystical Beauty was saying, is that it depends on what we're doing. Like she was saying that she pushes through at work, but at home it's like, okay, I can crash out, right? Sadie, welcome in. Where do you push through? Stacy, welcome in. Tara's in the house, welcome in. Joanne, welcome in. Thank you guys for being here. Oh, I forgot to put this little stickery thing that says pushing through. Bum, bum, bum. Oops. What's today's topic, by the way? I put this on my little... Yes! High five! I love hearing that, the Atomic You. That's dope. We are honored to have you here, and that's dope as hell that you did that. So, welcome in. David, we are talking about pushing through. And this can look different for different nervous systems. Thank you for the heart, me, Tara. Can look different for different nervous systems, and we're going to talk about that. Don't see, welcome in. Like an example for me is when I'm going through something tough, like a traumatic situation or something like that, where my coping is to work. And so I dive into work and spend a lot of time there. And that's like my pushing through, right? That's not, sometimes this is good, sometimes it's not. And when we talk about coping mechanisms and pushing through, there is no black and white. Okay, I just want to say that as a society, we are stuck on black or white mentality. And these things are not black and white. Okay? What I mean by that is some days we might need to push through, and some days we might need to pull back or rest. Okay, but we have to be able to recognize where that's at. What I mean by that, Sheila, hello, lovely. We miss you. Is say that I'm going through something really tough, but I need a break. And so as a distraction, I go and I dive into work. That could be good for a time, right? Now, what happens is if I don't go back and honor my feelings, if I don't process the emotions and feel the shit and sit in it, then that becomes something that is not healthy for us. I am reading a book, and it was such a really good reminder. I've read this book before. I've listened to it. I'm actually reading the book now, and listening to it again, and I'll share it with you guys. One of the things that he says that I absolutely love is because when we talk about labels and things like that, people can get really stuck on the black and white mentality, right? So even if we're talking about like attachment style, right? I am an anxious attached, or I am an avoidant, right? And really we can all be all of those depending on the situation that we're in. It's one that we just tend to dominantly fall into more. So what he says in the book is towards moves and away moves. And what I love by that is there's a few things I love about that is that can look very different for everyone. For each individual, your away and towards moves are going to look very different, and for different situations and seasons. Okay, so as an example, and this kind of ties back into the pushing through, just stay with me. If you're with me, put a 1 in the chat so I know you're here. Are you with me so far? All right, awesome. Carrie's with me. Tara's with me. Okay, the Atomic You. Got you. Awesome, awesome. Mystic Beauty. Let's go. Okay, Teresa, welcome in. So, say that this is the example he uses in Mom's, I got you. This is the example he uses in the book, okay? This is just one example. And this is what I mean by kind of getting away from the black and white mentality, this or that. Colorblind, welcome in. Thank you for the hot me. Appreciate you. Is that he used the example of, okay, I am going to have 3 glasses of wine a week is a towards move for him because it helps him relax and just enjoy life. But having a whole bottle of wine in one night is an away move, right? And so those numbers would look very different for somebody else. This goes back to, this is not a one size fits all, y'all. Okay. We are not a one size fits all. You need to find what the fuck works for you. This is your healing, your pace. Your healing, your pace. Okay, welcome in, John. Thank you everybody for being here. If this is your first time in this live, throw a 1 in the chat right now so that we can shower y'all with some love, because thank you for being here. We love having these uncomfortable conversations, expanding our perspectives, and being on this healing journey together, learning and sharing. So we appreciate y'all. Oh, am I freezing? Let me make sure I'm on the right internet. Okay, I think I'm good. Your healing, your pace. It might already be. Okay, I checked. Sorry about that. I'm on the right one. Welcome in, everybody. So, away moves and towards moves. So figuring out what those are for you. And this takes trial and error, right? Because most people on this journey, we're experimenting. We never thought that we had choices before. And so now there's all these choices, different tools, different therapies, right? Try them all. See what the fuck works for you and your journey. Okay, when I share something about a modality that I use or that I have found to be helpful, that's what I have found to be helpful for me, and I share it. Maybe it's going to be helpful for you, but maybe it's not. This is why we don't compare and judge on this journey, right? Because everybody's healing can look different. If you have questions, please throw them in the chat, okay? So away moves and towards moves. So when we talk about pushing through, sometimes that can be an away move. Sometimes that can be a towards move. Towards where you want to go, towards where you want to be, right? So for me, working is mostly a towards move because I love what I do. I have a few different jobs and I love what I do, right? So working is a towards move. Now, if I am working when I am trying to have time and space for my family, in that moment, that is an away move. Colorblind, thank you for the gifts. I appreciate you. And so do you guys see how it can be an away move? Does the away move and towards move make sense to you? If yes, put a 1 in the chat. If you want more clarity on it, put a 2 in the chat. Suzuki, hello. I think also the same action could sometimes be in a way and towards depending on the time. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. 100%. You're absolutely right, the Atomic You. Is that it depends, right? So another example he gave was if you're on sleeping in on days that you need to go to work, probably is not a towards move if you keep missing work and then you might lose your job, right? But on vacation, sleeping in might be a towards move because you want to sleep, you want to rejuvenate, you want to relax. Ooh, I love that. Okay, Holly. Yes, thank you. You guys, questions, I love questions. Curiosity is, we're all about that here, okay? So some clarity. For away and towards moves. So I am going to share the book with you. It is The Happiness Trap, okay? And he talks extensively in the first few chapters about away and towards moves. So this is not promotional paid anything. It's just I found this book and I really like it. When I find something that I like that I feel like you guys might benefit for, I just want to share it. So it's called The Happiness Trap. And in there, so towards move is moving you towards where you want to go in life. Okay, so if you have a goal of, say for me, example, my coaching. I love coaching. I love it. That's what I want to do. So working with people and working is a towards move in that category for me, right? So when I am working, that is a towards move because I want to work and I want to build my business and I want to help people on their journey and walk alongside them. Now, as that is a towards move, if I'm working when I want to be spending time with my family, right? Say like I'm watching a movie with my son and he wants me to be present, but I'm working in that moment, that would be an away move because in that moment, in that circumstance, work is not number one. My son would be number one. Right? The main focus in that situation with that person. Does that make sense? What's it called if you want to circle back to it? Like say you use a coping mechanism and you shelf your emotions and then you want to come back to it. I call it shelving and coming back. Maybe we could think of something cool to say. But that is, we do need breaks. We do need breaks. Sometimes we can't always address our feelings and process them right at that time. Sometimes we do have to come back. Sometimes I'm a visual person, so I look at it as, okay, here is the situation, my feelings, whatever that I'm working on or that I want to feel, maybe not want to, but need to feel in order to honor my emotions, I take that and I visually like put it on a shelf. Bob, welcome in. Thank you. And so I put them on a shelf and then I go do what I need to do. And then I come back and take them off and honor them. Does that make sense? Avoiding. Is it really avoiding if you do come back to it? I don't think so, right? This is where it's not black or white. I think that avoiding it is trying to it can and cannot, right? So, and this is something about awareness of being able to recognize within yourself, am I shelving this and I'm going to come back? It is healthy to shelf things sometimes and come back. We don't always have to address them right there. And in fact, for a lot of people, practicing the pause before we react, before we respond, requires us to feel like we're avoiding it, right? Because we're taking space where we would normally just react and push through and try to fix it or shut it down. There's no pause in there. So that can feel like avoidance. It's not always necessarily avoidance though. And this is where getting curious and honest with yourself, like, am I avoiding this or am I taking space to process and come back? Shelfing it. Yeah. Gemma, welcome in. If I missed a question or a comment, you guys just let me know. Mods, you're doing amazing. What's the line between pushing through and bypassing what needs attention? This is such a good question. What's the line between pushing through and bypassing what needs attention? This is the pause. This is why I feel like this pause is so important, right? Is knowing when to push and when to sit and when to respond. Okay. So say I get into an argument with somebody or I hurt somebody's feelings. I said something brash or that was pretty fucked up. And, I recognize that, right? They either told me or I just felt that, man, I was kind of shitty. Actually, this just happened. I said something to my son yesterday and I woke up and I was like, oh, this doesn't really sit right with me. I kind of need to check in with him, right? So it depends. The person can tell you or it can come up on your own. Oftentimes, this is where the pushing through comes in is, do we try to fix it right away and make the uncomfortable go away that we have wronged somebody or that sitting in the discomfort that somebody is not okay, right? So there might be a disconnect, there might be disappointment that, so pushing through, when we try to repair too fast, we don't sit in that, or bypassing, those can be simultaneous, right? Bypassing what needs attention. So knowing when to respond and when to hold space. And so we can bypass or push through when we either avoid the whole situation or we try to repair too fast, right? We try to fix it. Those are the two things that come up just really fast for me. Does that answer your question, Tara? Avoiding would not be going back to it at all, correct? I would say colorblind, yes. Avoiding it would be not coming back to it, right? I'm trying to catch up, y'all. Thank you. I utilize compartmentalizing things in order to sit back and reflect. Yes, and this is where we're talking about where coping mechanisms and things like that. We're not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater, okay? So just because something can be used, say like my working or shopping and you can use a coping mechanism. Anything can be a coping mechanism to avoid feeling. Avoid the discomfort, okay? But I'm not saying get rid of those completely. I'm saying just become aware of what is happening, what's happening to your body, what's coming up for you. Are you coming back to it? And oftentimes, we are not offering enough space for us or the other person or situation to sit and reflect. And we call that the pause. You can call it whatever you want. I just like to say the pause, like in the pause, right? Thank you, Gemma. How are you doing, lovely? Man, life is so complex. It would be so much easier to stay on one gear always, right? And this is where the atomic you is we want control, which makes sense, right? Because if it's predictable, that feels safe. And so we try to control these things and we pick black or white. We pick, okay, it has to be this or that so that it's predictable, even if it's not necessarily healthy. It feels safe and it feels better because there's a sense of control because we can predict this or that, right? It is so much more work to be able to sit and reflect and dance, as Tara says, with your shadows, right? Dance and get curious because it is not black or white. Bop. I did that with my son and his girlfriend a while back. Awesome. High five, kudos, because it's not easy to do that. It is, it's humbling. I feel like pushing through is something I may have to utilize in an immediate situation. Yes, right? When to push through and when to pause. There are times where we are going to need to push through, right? In a crisis situation. Unfortunately, for some nervous systems, they are stuck in crisis situation. How do I know this? Because I am one of them that I've worked really hard on this. Stuck in crisis. And so everything feels like we have to operate out of urgency, immediate. And so, and then some nervous systems do need to tap into the pushing through because their nervous system has shut it off, right? There is no urgency. There is no coming back to it. It's just shut down. If this conversation, oh yes, thank you. Yes, we have the Sacred Middle. It is a all women's group coaching right after this. You could check out the link in the bio about that. If you don't mind, how did that conversation go with your son? That's very impressive, by the way. Oh, thank you. Yeah. No secrets here. My life's basically an open book because it's important to me that I'm real, right? Like if I'm not walking the walk, why the fuck would you guys listen to me? Right? Like, so it didn't go as dramatic as I thought it would be in my head because I didn't want to plant something that may not have been there. So I really tried to gauge my question. So I said, hey, the conversation we had yesterday in the store about this topic, did I hurt your feelings or say something that hurt you? And he was like, no. And I was like, okay. I go, just letting you know if I did, you can definitely come to me and talk to me about that. And here is another option about what you were talking about, because I want you to know that this situation is important to me and I hear you. And he was like, okay, thanks, Mom. Love you. I will compartmentalize in order to come back and process, then respond. Yeah. And I think colorblind, it's being able to know, am I doing that or am I avoiding it because I don't want to feel something, right? It's kind of warm. Hold on, y'all. It's like I'm in California and the weather doesn't know what it wants to be. So knowing, and that's kind of that is that emotional awareness of to be able to be honest with yourself, first of all, and say, yeah, I'm avoiding this conversation right this minute so that I can gain clarity and a different perspective and show up the way that I want. Thank you, Gemma. I appreciate you. Sometimes we need to sit in it to understand it better. Yeah, there's the saying, in order to heal it, you got to feel it. And this is what I'm so passionate. Well, I'm passionate about a lot of things. Okay. One thing I'm passionate about is that we bypass sitting in the discomfort. We go straight to repair and fix, especially in the healing and like spiritual spaces I have seen. It's about, I talk about toxic positivity. I talk about spiritual bypassing and things like that, because we skip over the feeling of the yucky part and go straight into, how do I heal this, before we have actually felt it. And this is why we have so many people still circling back, still after, doing counseling and therapy and healing modalities, that they come back and they're like, I'm still back at square one. Is because we've missed that part. Why? Because it's uncomfortable. Nobody wants to sit in the uncomfortable. Oh, I'm so glad that you're good, Gemma. I'm catching up, y'all. Oh, Bop, your kiddos? Yes, Susie says, living my best life. Awesome. I love that for you, Gemma. Thank you. So do you, sweetheart. Got that big heart. The conversation is too healthy for me. That is absolutely astonishing. Hope to get there one day. I hear you. And you know what? I understand, because I was not here before. Oh, what is happening? Oh,
I don't know.
oh, okay. I'm gonna kick you out. I love you, but I don't know. Maybe I accidentally did that. I'm not really sure what happened. Oh, how do I get back to... we haven't done a group live in a long time, actually. Let's see. I forget how to get the boxes off. It's been so long. Un momento, por favor, y'all. Okay, here we go. Back there. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry, Gemma. It was probably my error. I probably pressed something on accident. So the atomic you, I understand. I started this. I told you guys about my daughter. I didn't have those conversations with her. I didn't even know that those were an option. That wasn't how I grew up, right? It's much easier now. I've been doing it for quite some time. This is what I help people do, learn how to connect and how to communicate, be vulnerable, and things like that with their loved ones. So, but it does take, it is extremely humbling to be able, first of all, to recognize that you did something that, disconnected you or hurt somebody or all of that. A lot of us aren't taught to honor that. We're like, grow up, or, toughen up, things like that. What's the biggest advantage you've gained from pushing through? Me personally, or the chat? For me personally, one would be being here. This stuff is not easy, and sometimes I gotta push through the uncomfortable, right? So pushing through the uncomfortable, that is the biggest thing. And that did not start with tough conversations with my son, the atomic you guys, it did not start here. Do you know how I started practicing uncomfortable things? It's going to sound stupid and silly, and a lot of the things that I tell y'all to do may feel stupid and silly because it's in the little teeny things that get you to where you want to go. It's not those big conversations. It started with, when I was running, I would give myself a high five and say, come on, you got this, Amber. It's uncomfortable. I'm out here running in public and I'm giving myself a high five. Then it's things like taking, right when I got out of the shower, turning it to cold. It's uncomfortable. Your body doesn't know the difference between physical uncomfortable and emotional uncomfortable. Okay, it feels the same to your body, so you can train your body to push through, to tolerate uncomfortability in other ways that are safe and easier to build the muscle. I had a question from last week. I don't know when's a good time. Just send it here. Yeah, you can send it. How often is pushing just distraction? Oh, that's a good question. I think it just depends, right? For it depends on the nervous system. Some nervous systems push through, they over push, right? And some under push. And so recognizing first where you're at, on where your nervous system is at on that pendulum, right? So for my nervous system, pushing through can be a distraction and an away move a lot of times if I'm not circling back and going, honoring my feelings. Also with repair, pushing through too early to repair is not healthy. It's not helpful, and it's not actually repair. It's trying to bypass the discomfort. I need you to be okay. I need to fix this. I need you to be okay so that I can be okay, which is not actually repairing. Thank you guys, because thank you to my mods. You guys are amazing. I'm far behind in the conversation. You can tell by where I am in the questions. How, if at all, did you getting on your healing journey help your daughter who was not in a good place? Truly, I believe it saved her life. It saved mine as well, but it saved her life. It saved mine in a different way, because I wouldn't be where I am today without that. But I believe that it saved her, maybe even just physically, mentally. Me getting on that healing journey. Now we're best friends. We have a beautiful relationship. I have a grandson who I'm in his life. They have a beautiful little family. And so, yeah. Sometimes what we think and feel is not actually true. Once we redirect, we might not even feel it. And that is true too. I think I'm just always careful to not bypass first, right? Because what we're thinking and feeling comes from somewhere. Next week, we're talking about the stories that we live in. And Gemma, that hits right on that. The stories that we live in. Because what first comes up for us often is not what is, how do I want to put this? It's triggering, coming up from something in our past. And we filter everything today through that experience. And so if we're able to distance ourselves, recognize, validate, because it comes from somewhere, and that those thoughts and feelings are valid based on your experiences, right? So we don't want to invalidate them. And I think that that's a big part of not bypassing that, because I do need validation. Thank you, colorblind. I appreciate you. But if we're able to say, oh, this is where this is coming from, this makes sense, honoring what's happening to our body, because that's where we feel it first, even though we think it's logically, we feel it in our body first, then we can have a choice. And that's that practicing the pause, is that we can choose differently if we want in that pause. I'm learning to slow things down and learn to ask for space and or better clarity. Yes, and that is vulnerable. High fucking five. And that can be really vulnerable, especially if we grew up that asking questions was weak, right? There's a lot of people say, don't ask stupid questions. Why would we want to ask? Laura, hello, lovely. Same. I love helping people heal. I know you do. Colorblind. I've been doing EDMR. So at this point, I realize I have to sit in the discomfort to heal it. Yeah, that's worked for a lot of people. I'm hoping that it sounds like it's working for you. So I love that. Yeah, we have to sit in the discomfort. Also, depending on your nervous system, knowing how long to sit in that, and is it safe to sit in it by yourself? Ooh, what are you afraid might catch up if you slow down? For me personally, uh, it would be feeling the discomfort, right? Feeling the sadness, feeling the anger, the grief, those things I don't want to feel. And so distracting myself so I don't have to feel those. That's just the honest answer is when that comes up is they're uncomfortable to feel. Who wants to sit and cry and over about the same thing even maybe? Um Wait, what's happening? Okay, let me scroll down to the bottom to make sure that we're on the same page. And then I'll scroll back up. Okay, so is the live okay? Lima, hello. Can you guys see the video? I saw some comments about that it was okay. I just want to make sure. Cool. I have become stronger and let me go to that. Oops, shoot. Oh, I've learned a lot from you. I have been teaching my daughter and grandson. That's so awesome. I love it. I love it. I have become stronger and now my nervous system does not immediately go into freeze mode. Sounds like you've been doing a lot of work colorblind. So kudos to you. This healing journey is not for the faint of heart. It is tough. If I missed something, you guys just let me know, please. Kristen, hello. Yes, I remember. Welcome back, lovely. I never. Okay, so does anybody have questions about pushing through? Lima, we should hop on a call. I have a free 30-minute connection call. We can talk about whatever you want. I can help you maybe in a situation in your life. We can talk about, you got my undivided attention for 30 minutes. So if you have something that you want to talk about or get guidance on, we can hop on that call, Lima. When has pushing through protected your ego? Ooh, yeah. So the first thing that comes to my mind with that is in conversations where I am hurt or I feel attacked and then I lash out because I don't want to look vulnerable or weak. And so I flip it and I make them look weak, right? I get bigger. Oops. Oh, are you talking about like military colorblind? Or yeah, colorblind. There's something else for sure. I love that. I couldn't find the link. I've been going through a circle. Oh, it should be right in my link tree to book a connection call. If you cannot, let me know and I'll send you the link via email. Right, Tara? Smiling so big for y'all. Oh, I appreciate that the videos are helping. Thank you. If you were doing a live 5 years ago and talking to us, how would it go? Ooh. Where was I 5 years ago? 5 years ago, I was in a much more independent mentality. I had not learned a lot about interdependence. And so I had started learning about it, but I hadn't integrated it into my life and felt it, which changes the way that I coach. right? So when you go through something, you have a better understanding of it. And so, yeah, that's my heart's first thought. That's the first thing that comes up is, I wouldn't have felt as strong about needing a safe person in your life. This is why I started this. And really, I'm really passionate about walking alongside men and women in their journey, because I do believe that some people need an outside person safety in order to create some stability and solid ground to build trust within themselves and safety within themselves. That's the biggest thing. I was more into the pushing through of I don't need anybody else. And I today truly believe that we are created for connection and do need people. It's this healthy partnership of internal and external, of internal validation, external validation, internal connection, external connection. And again, this is where black or white mentality comes in. A lot of people are this or that, but it's knowing when to lean into self and when to lean into somebody else, right? I love the questions. Still struggling with trying to eat regularly. ChatGPT described it as a grocery guilt spiral. Yeah, there's a lot of things underneath that, right, Kristen? And this kind of was saying, if we hop on a connection call or work one-on-one, it does the grocery, the issue is not the issue. I'll just say that for anybody's, what they're going through, the issue is not the issue. It's what is underneath that, the root, the core of those issues. And those shape everything that we're doing. Thank you, Holly. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. The core underneath what's happening, right? So when I talk about, say, like the affair that my husband had, it triggered a core wound. It didn't start there, right? It could be really easy to be like, that created a wound there, but really it just triggered a core wound from my childhood, right? And so we don't always have to go back and hash out our childhood, but having like an overall understanding of why we're doing things helps us make sense of it, so that we can validate, so that we can then redirect. Okay, copy that, Lima. And decision fatigue. Yeah, that a lot of that stems from a root issue underneath, right? And then that goes into a lot of other things, building muscles around decision. When I teach clients how to begin to trust themselves and really trust themselves, is I don't have them start doing things like big things like having conversations or creating a new habit. What I have them do is lay out 2 shirts. Whichever shirt speaks to you first, wear that one. Your body needs evidence. Your nervous system needs evidence that it can begin to build a case on to trust. Okay, it's these muscles that we're building. Welcome in, everybody. Oh, I don't know why. I can't wait until my finances are back today, so I can actually. The call is free. Just so you know, it's a 30-minute free call. So you could do that at any time. We look forward to having you there too. I feel like in my journey right now, I need a lot of independence, but interdependence. Yeah, because if whatever side your nervous system is, like say on the pendulum, right, is like, okay, so people see themselves as independent or codependent, right? And as we're healing, we're going to swing to different sides of the pendulum because we need to experience that other side. But what we're looking for is that sacred middle. We're not going to stay there, just that we can bypass there and reach there and visit, is that interdependence. And that's having at least one safe person that you are able to be vulnerable with, that that can help you get you where you want to go. But really, it's just one safe person that you don't have to worry about carrying their emotions, anything like that. It is a container for you. And that is what I love doing and working with people on. So my one-on-one, I don't just work with women. I do work with men as well in my one-on-ones. The only thing that I do, only women, is the sacred middle on Monday nights. But having that learning, most of us never got interdependence, and that's why we're learning about it now, which sucks. But our parents never got interdependence. They didn't know about interdependence, right? Co-regulation. Nobody taught about co-regulation. But that is, as humans, Bowlby talked about co-regulation, and it just because we're children, it doesn't stop in childhood. It goes into adulthood that we are still looking and need co-regulation. I appreciate you guys. How do I figure out what those wounds are? I don't even know where to begin with asking myself questions. I think there's a lot that you can do on your own. Find somebody that you trust to walk alongside you. Find a coach or a therapist or a counselor, somebody who can help guide you. Also, for some nervous systems, especially if you've gone through severe trauma or SA or things like that, it might not be safe for your nervous system to go there alone. So you really want somebody who understands that, who is going to be able to help you understand your healing journey. Okay. And thank you to my beautiful, amazing people in here, like Tara and Holly and Frosty and things like that, that have really helped me understand different nervous systems need different guidance, because some people are not able to be inside themselves because it hasn't been safe. And so there's different things, and this is why we say my healing, my pace. We need to find what works for you and your healing and where you are right now. And that's going to be trial and error and trying things out. So I would say find a safe person, Kristen, that you can work with one-on-one that will help walk you through that. Because you can do it on your own. I truly feel really passionate. Having a safe person to help guide us is part of the missing piece as well, because whether you have been whatever nervous system, anxious, avoidant, whatever you want, empath, nurse, whatever label you want to put on that, I truly believe that most people have never had a real safe person in their life. They've had people who are pretty safe and love them, but not safe in the container of holding them without them having to hold the other person. And because we were supposed to get that from our parents and caregivers, but they didn't know how to give that, right? So the little children in us are still looking for that. And I believe that we always will be, to some extent. Why am I not willing to open myself up to new relationships? Well, there could be quite a few things, right? I don't know your situation or what's happening, but the first thing that comes to my mind is that self-protection, or not wanting to be vulnerable, right? Like, and that's the same thing. So protection, not wanting to put yourself in a situation to be hurt again. So my question would actually be, first of all, are you, for you, ready for a relationship, right? Are you ready to take that adventure on? And then if so, then move to the next question. Am I willing, right? What does that mean? What does it mean to open yourself up to a new relationship? So there's a lot in that. Does that mean being vulnerable, opening your time? There could be a lot of things that are coming up for you. Maybe, time, vulnerability, space, independence. All of these things could be coming up. Those are the underlying things that a relationship can trigger. I'm catching up, y'all. Kristen, I'm trying to be super independent. And if you have been, say that you have leaned into people all of your life and you want to create some of that independence, there is a season for that, right? A season to tap into self, to validate self, to spend time with self, to really get to know self. But that, I don't believe that that means abandoning safe relationships. I do believe that it's a dance, right? So just being able to be aware of that. Okay, sounds good, Tara. Thank you. Oh, it's already 4:50. Holy smokes. Okay. I'm catching up. Yeah, and we can be independent and codependent depending on the situation and the person. Yes, book that call. Yeah, Farah, it's free for the 30-minute call. You can go to my link tree. It should be right in my link tree, the bio. So here in TikTok, if you go to my profile and click on that, it'll say one on connection call. Why does accomplishing stuff not feel as good as when you thought you would feel when it was accomplished? Yeah, because that dopamine, right? There's a few reasons. So I'll go over this really fast. Next week, you guys, we're talking about the stories we live in. So make sure to check that out. And just so you guys know, the week leading up to Monday, all my videos, if you go to my page, are about that topic. I know that it doesn't come across your For You page like that, but if you go to my page, so like all last week was about pushing through. All next week is going to be about the stories that we live in. Okay, so just so you guys know that you can go there and watch those. Okay. Oh, for the sacred middle? Okay, awesome. I thought she was talking about the connection call. Okay, copy that. So atomic you, the accomplishing, why doesn't it feel as good? One is that dopamine hits, right? Expectations. Also, we have, because it's not really satisfying the core need. It's not satisfying the core need. A lot of us have felt like we had to earn our worth or love through action, through production. And so we feel like we will feel worthy, we'll feel proud of ourselves if we do this, this, and this. And when, say, there isn't, sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't that external validation, then it can give a small dopamine hit, but it really doesn't feel like we wanted it to because we haven't received it from ourselves. So that could be that as well. We're looking for external validation when the core need is internal validation. So that could be happening. I think it's better to have somebody with you. I agree. That's why I started all this. My brain barely feels safe on my own. That's why I always look for external validation. Yep. So but I think it's really important because finding one safe person that you can depend on, a therapist, a coach. This is why I am so passionate about the work that I do. So for my clients, we do text messaging throughout the week. So on top of sessions, we do have sessions. but they have text message support because life is happening right now, right? So they can text me through the week and then we can process it during that time span instead of having to wait a week, 3 weeks, a month before you can talk about a situation. I have a therapist as my guide through my shadow work. Yes, that's so important. I'm trying to catch up, y'all. Okay, got you, Holly. Okay, book that call. How do you come up with weekly topics? Are you afraid you're going to run out of ideas? Sometimes I get a lot of my topics from you guys. I have a whole list. So if there are topics that you guys mention or that come up, I write them down, and then that's one way. Another way is whatever shit I'm going through personally that I think might be beneficial. So if you guys want to throw topics into the chat, I do incorporate those into the list. Whoop whoop. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. All right, I got you guys. Okay. I will check. So then because I think Holly got the purchase the ticket. I need to email you the Zoom link. Can you message me, Farah, your email so I can email you the Zoom link? Wouldn't online therapy be less effective because you're missing that face-to-face interaction? So I do Zooms. I do love face-to-face. Some people in the beginning don't like that. It's really vulnerable. But I actually think for a lot of my clients that it is effective because it feels safer. They don't have to leave and go somewhere. Things like that. It's a little less vulnerable than sitting face to face. It is still vulnerable because we're on camera, but it's so much more accessible and for people. There is an aspect of that physical energy connection being in the same room that isn't there, but I don't, from what I have found, is that because I've done both in person and online, is that if your therapist, counselor, coach is attuned, it can still be extremely beneficial, and you may not even miss that physical as much, if that makes sense. Okay, perfect. Yeah. It's some people love it, some people hate it. Different strokes for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, and the thing is it's just so much more accessible. So a lot of my clients are in different countries, different states, and it offers a much wider variety to be able to work and just accessible. And same with the text message. I feel like that is something that a lot of people, especially in the beginning, thank you, I appreciate the gifts, is having support daily, right? Or near daily, so that you can build trust. A lot of the people that I work with, trust is a really big thing. And so building that trust through daily communication. Okay, guys, I appreciate you. I got to run, hop over to the Sacred Middle. Next week, we are talking about the stories that we live in. There's still some time. You can grab your ticket, your seat for tonight. Book a one-on-one conversation, a 30-minute conversation. It is absolutely free except for your time. So other than that, I would love to sit and chat with y'all. I will see you next week. Remember, fuck perfect. And we'll see you guys next week. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Bye.